What happens when America's safest trade partner quietly locks the gate? One signature in Ottawa just did what no war or recession could. It shut America out overnight. No riots. No tanks. Just a slow economic chokehold that starts with 10 states and could hit your town next. If you think your job's safe, think again, because your rent, your paycheck, and your grocery bill depend on this open door that just slammed shut. And the number one state about to take the biggest hit? If it falls, millions of American jobs could vanish in months. Don't blink. Because this is the story no headline wants you to see, and if you miss it now, you'll feel it later. Number 10, North Dakota. North Dakota. Quiet plains, oil wells pumping day and night. Every day, 500,000 barrels cross pipes north into Canada because it's cheaper than shipping to Gulf ports. But now, Ottawa just dropped a new carbon border tax. It's a 25% surcharge on American crude that doesn't meet new green benchmarks. So overnight, Canadian refineries buy more from Norway, less from Dakota. Oil rigs sit idle. Pipe welders laid off. And the small towns, the cafes, motels, truck stops all feel it first. And when oil slows down here, refineries in the Midwest pay more to move barrels from the coast, meaning your gas pump feels the hit, too. One policy. One cold neighbor. And an entire rural economy gasping for air. One skip and you'll miss the real bombshell. Number 9, Wisconsin. Wisconsin, cheese capital of America. $5 billion in dairy exports each year, and Canada was their number one buyer. But now Ottawa's Dairy Shield Act demands Canadian retailers buy 70% local milk first. So Wisconsin's cheese mountains sit in storage, butter tanks overflow. Dairy co-ops dump raw milk. Some farms slaughter herds early, can't afford to feed cows no one wants milk from. Local feed mills, truckers, even rural schools feel the squeeze as farmers cancel orders. Meanwhile, grocery stores in Toronto just switched to domestic suppliers. A neighbors-friendly trade pivot, Wisconsin's rural backbone on the line. Some people wait for the headlines to tell them what happened. Not you. Hit subscribe, hit that bell, because what's happening next will be faster, bigger, and hidden in plain sight. And here, you'll see it first. Number 8, Minnesota. Minnesota, 10,000 lakes, friendly towns, calm winters. But behind the postcard? A state that secretly leans hard on Canada. Corn, soybeans, pork, yes. But the real kicker? Minnesota's medical devices and biotech. For years, its medtech exports flowed north. Pacemakers, surgical instruments, diagnostics gear, all snapped up by Canadian hospitals. But Ottawa's new medical imports safety mandate just rewrote the rules. Every U.S. shipment must pass fresh sterilization audits and new biocompatibility tests that take weeks and kill delivery schedules. Result? Dozens of containers sit idle at Duluth's port. Hog farmers who depend on cross-border feed contracts are missing shipments too. A local medtech CEO said bluntly, "We're losing Canadian orders to Germany overnight. Same product, different passport." If Minnesota's innovation edge rusts here, Midwest biotech could go next. Number 7, Pennsylvania. Steel, coal, chemicals, Pennsylvania built America's industrial backbone. Pittsburgh once roared with foundries and rail yards. Today, it's advanced chemicals, heavy machinery, precision parts, and Canada's been its number one customer for decades. But Ottawa's Industrial Procurement Priority Act now prioritizes European heavy goods. Contracts once renewed on handshake deals now tangled in new bid requirements, technical hurdles, and inspections. Shipments pile up at Erie's inland ports. Chemical plants in Pittsburgh are cutting overtime shifts. Some smaller foundries face permanent closure. Pennsylvania learned once how brutal deindustrialization can be. If this shift sticks, they might be forced to learn it all over again. Number 6. Indiana. Indiana, the engine room of America's Midwest. From the auto alley to medical device giants, Indiana's factories churn out cars, valves, orthopedics, and send billions north. Canada buys 12% of all Indiana exports. But with Ottawa's HealthTech Shield policy and stricter car parts emission standards, shipments are stuck. Assembly lines in Indianapolis sit waiting for Canadian approvals that used to clear in days. Honda, Subaru, Toyota plants cutting shifts. Biotech startups that once thrived on Toronto investors now see funding vanish. Workers sent home midweek. Indiana once believed efficiency could outcompete anyone. Turns out, trade policy trumps productivity every time. If you're still here, you're not average. You see the dots no one else does, so smash like, hit subscribe, and share. Number 5. New York. Wall Street might dominate headlines, but upstate New York feeds Canada's appetite for food, tech, and high-value pharma. Every year, $19 billion in goods and services crosses the northern border. But Canada's pharma safety reform and a smart tech import preference rewrote the game. New York's generic drug makers can't get quick approvals. Electronic shipments from Buffalo face new encryption compliance that European suppliers meet easily. Result? Warehouses in Albany stacked with unsold products. Tech startups once bankrolled by Montreal VCs watch investments dry up. A pharmaceutical plant manager in Syracuse told reporters, "We didn't lose to cheaper factories. We lost to a border that changed overnight." When your biggest neighbor slams the door on exports, Wall Street can't hedge that. Number 4. Illinois. Chicago's skyline hides a vast engine. Corn, soybeans, medical devices, precision tools, all sailing north every day. Nearly 30% of Illinois' exports head to Canada. The Port of Chicago moves billions yearly. But Ottawa's Agri-Quality Reinforcement Act just threw a wrench in the works. Higher pesticide residue tests. New biotech labeling. Machinery inspections on parts that once breezed through customs. Farmers in Dakota can't get beans out in time. Bottling plants in Peoria facing contract cancellations. Medical device makers trimming shifts. Illinois once bragged it could weather any storm. But this storm's blowing from the north, and it doesn't care about Chicago's skyline. Your subscription is the fuel. Light it up, hit subscribe, and keep us moving. Number 3. Texas. Texas, America's oil king, agriculture giant, tech upstart, $35 billion in goods head north every year. Petroleum, chemicals, wind turbines, Texas sells big to Canada. Until Ottawa's Clean Chem Act and Petro-Protect border tariff took aim at Texas carbon-heavy exports. Petrochemical plants in Houston see orders rejected for missing new emission caps. Panhandle wheat rots waiting on new Canadian quarantine paperwork. Even green energy startups are spooked. Canadian partners pulled funding for Texas wind projects after new investment barriers. Big Texas isn't invincible when its biggest neighbor changes the rules. Number 2. Ohio. No Canadian border, yet Ohio leans hard on Canada. $12 billion in exports, cars, electronics, chemicals, medical parts. General Motors, Honda, Ohio plants rely on just-in-time parts. Ottawa's auto standards revision now blocks those parts unless they pass new eco ratings. Production lines in Dayton and Toledo? Paused. Chemical makers in Akron? Stalled by new disposal paperwork. Small businesses that supply medical sensors? Orders vanished as Canada shifts to EU suppliers. A plant manager near Columbus said, "You don't need a wall to stop trade. Just new paperwork no one can pass overnight." Ohio's Rust Belt worked for decades to reinvent itself. One policy from Ottawa could send it back in time. Don't even think of clicking away. Number 1 will shock you. Number 1, Michigan. The Motor City. Detroit's legacy still powers Michigan's biggest export, cars and parts. $27 billion in goods cross the Detroit-Windsor Bridge yearly, one of the busiest trade arteries in North America. But Ottawa's Auto Environmental Accord just raised emission standards overnight. Finished cars sent back. Parts rejected. Supply chains broken. Thousands of trucks that used to flow daily now sit idle. 4,000 contract workers furloughed within 90 days. Auto towns watching their taxes evaporate. One trade policy, one new line of fine print, and the Motor City's heart stops beating. So what now? Is Canada just going green, or quietly testing how easy it is to choke America's supply chain without firing a shot? If you want raw breakdowns like this, the ones no headline gives you, smash the like button, subscribe to Globe Chaos Insights, and drop a comment. Which state do you think collapses first if the border stays locked? Your subscription is our fuel. Don't let this story fade in silence. Stay here. Keep the dots connected right here.